It's kind of unnerving when even big names like, Microsoft slip up on cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just look at what happened with Change Healthcare this week.
Yeah.
That ransomware attack and then the data breach.
Oh, yeah.
100 million people. Makes you think, are we ready for what's coming next?
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's not just about today's hackers.
Yeah.
It's like a glimpse into a future where this thing called quantum computing could completely change the cybersecurity game.
Yeah.
Like the whole harvest now, decrypt later idea.
Yeah.
Where data stolen today just sits there useless until, boom, quantum computers come along and unlock it.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
So that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
We got two sources we're going to unpack. One from PYMNTS, really focuses on the payment industry, and another one that goes deep, like really deep into quantum computing itself. And by the end of this, you'll not just get WHY, this is such a big deal, but what quantum computing is and how we can actually protect ourselves against it.
It's about being proactive, understanding this wave that's coming and getting ready for it.
Right.
Because quantum computing is coming, and how safe our data is depends on us being ready.
Okay, so level set, right? What is quantum computing?
Sure.
I feel like it's one of those buzzwords everyone throws around, but no one really gets.
Yeah, it's
what is it really?
Imagine if your computer could do a million calculations at the same time instead of one by one.
Okay.
That is the power of quantum.
Okay.
It uses these things called qubits. And unlike the bits in our regular computers, which are either a 0 or a 1,
Right, yeah.
qubits can be in multiple states at the same time.
So it's not just faster, it's like a whole different way of doing things.
It's a totally different way of processing information, yeah.
Okay.
It's a huge shift. And then there's this thing called entanglement, where two qubits are linked, even if they're miles apart.
Wow.
And they can communicate instantly, almost as if they were two parts of the same thought.
So it's like telepathy for computers.
Kind of, yeah.
That's wild.
It is pretty wild.
Okay.
And this combination of superposition and entanglement is what gives quantum computing its potential, but it's also what makes it such a game changer for, cybersecurity.
Okay. I'm starting to see why this is a big deal.
Yeah.
But how does it actually threaten our data? What's the mechanism there?
So there's this algorithm, it's called Shor's algorithm, and it's this one that really has security experts worried.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to find one specific grain of sand on a beach.
Oh, gosh.
Right? A normal computer would have to go through each grain one by one.
Right.
But a quantum computer, using Shor's algorithm, could look at all of them at once.
So it's not just brute forcing, it's it's finding a shortcut.
It's a shortcut. And for encryption, that shortcut is, well, it's bad news, because Shor's algorithm on a powerful enough quantum computer could crack the encryption we use for everything. Everything online.
Wow.
From your banking to shopping, even government communications, all of it.
That harvest now, decrypt later thing is feeling very real right now.
It is.
In that PYMNTS article, they quote a Visa executive who basically confirms that hackers are stockpiling encrypted data.
Oh, wow.
Just waiting for quantum computers to be powerful enough to unlock it.
It's like a digital time bomb ticking away.
Yeah, it really is.
And the payments industry, because it's so interconnected, and with all that sensitive data,
right,
it's especially vulnerable.
That's what's so alarming, right? If one part of the system falls, the whole thing could collapse.
It could.
We're talking credit card numbers, bank info, everything just out there.
Everything exposed, yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And the consequences.
Yeah.
Huge. Not just financial loss, but also trust.
Trust.
Right. Imagine a world where people are afraid to use their cards online.
Yeah. It's a scary thought.
So we've established that quantum computing is powerful.
Yes.
It's a serious threat.
Yeah.
And payments are especially vulnerable.
Uh-huh.
The big question is, what can we do about it?
Right.
Is there any hope?
Well, it's not all doom and gloom,
Okay, good.
There are ways to defend ourselves against this quantum threat.
Okay.
The term quantum defense sounds kind of sci-fi, but it's becoming very real.
Right. It does.
Very fast.
So what are some of these defenses?
Sure.
I've heard about this thing called quantum key distribution.
Yeah.
QKD.
QKD, yeah.
Sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
It kind of does.
How does that work?
It's pretty fascinating, actually.
Oh.
Imagine a lock where even looking at the key breaks it.
Oh, wow.
That's essentially what QKD does.
Mm-hmm.
It uses these principles from quantum mechanics to create encryption keys that are basically impossible to copy or intersect without, like, tripping an alarm.
So even with a super powerful quantum computer, hackers couldn't steal the key?
In theory, no.
Okay.
If someone tries to eavesdrop on the key exchange,
Right.
it causes a disruption, and that's detectable.
Okay.
So the key becomes useless.
It's like a self-destructing message?
Kinda, yeah.
That's incredible.
It's pretty cool.
So is QKD like the silver bullet then?
Well, it's a powerful tool, no doubt,
Okay.
but it's not a standalone solution, you know?
Right.
That PYMNTS article, they emphasize a more holistic approach.
Okay.
They quote a Google Cloud expert who talks about, like, baking security into every single stage of development.
So it's not just about fancy new tech like QKD, it's about changing how we think about security from the ground up.
Exactly.
Okay.
We need to move away from this, like, bolt-on approach where security's just added on later as an afterthought. It needs to be integrated, you know, like woven into the very fabric of our systems, especially with quantum computing on the horizon.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about standards?
Right.
Are there any like guidelines or regulations in place?
That's where NIST comes in.
Okay.
National Institute of Standards and Technology.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
They're working on developing quantum-resistant standards for encryption.
So like a common set of rules.
Exactly.
That's a huge relief.
It's good news.
It sounds like there's a real effort to stay ahead of the curve, so to speak.
There is, and it's encouraging.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that while we're prepping for this quantum future,
Right.
we're still dealing with very real cyber threats right now.
That's true.
PYMNTS actually highlights this.
Oh, okay.
They quote Bank of America, and they pointed out that cybercrime is already massive.
Yeah, is it?
Globally.
Yeah.
It's like the world's third largest economy.
So we're fighting a war on two fronts.
We are.
Protecting ourselves from what's happening now
Yeah.
while also prepping for this quantum leap in hacking.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that brings up another point. The second source talks about how different industries are reacting to this quantum threat.
Right.
And as you might expect, you know, financial institutions are kind of leading the charge.
Yeah, they're kind of freaked out, understandably.
Yeah, for sure.
But other sectors are starting to pay attention, too.
So this isn't just a tech issue. It impacts everyone.
It does.
It impacts all of us.
It really does.
Which leads to the question that's probably on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
What can we do about this?
Right.
What can we as individuals do to protect ourselves in this quantum age?
Well, there are a few things.
Okay.
And both sources actually offer some really good advice.
Okay.
First and foremost, awareness is key.
Okay.
The more people who understand this threat,
Right.
the more pressure there'll be on, you know, companies and governments to make cybersecurity a priority.
Knowledge is power, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And when you're choosing companies to do business with, whether it's your bank or online stores, whatever,
Right.
look for the ones that prioritize security.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, like what are you doing to prepare for quantum computing?
Exactly.
It's my data.
It is your data.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I've never thought to ask my bank about their quantum security plan.
It's not something most people think about, but it's becoming more and more important.
It's like, don't wait till the quantum apocalypse hits to start taking this seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's about taking those steps now to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And both sources, they highlight some simple but effective things you can do today.
Okay.
Things like turning on two-factor authentication
Oh, yeah, yeah.
for your accounts, you know.
Right, right. Yeah.
Be really careful about phishing scams.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, strong, unique passwords.
Ugh, passwords, the bane of my existence.
I know, right?
It's so important.
But they make a big difference, especially as we're heading into this new era of quantum, you know?
It's easy to forget about that stuff, you know, but it really does matter.
It does. And remember, this is all evolving.
Oh.
What we know today might be totally different tomorrow.
Right.
So staying informed is key.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on what's happening, both in quantum computing and in cybersecurity.
So it's not like a set it and forget it situation.
No.
It's an ongoing process.
Absolutely.
Right.
And there's one area I think is particularly interesting to watch.
Okay.
The role of AI in quantum defense.
Oh.
It's early days, but the idea of using AI to fight AI-powered quantum attacks is, like, mind-blowing.
It sounds like a movie or something.
It does, doesn't
Like
it?
AI battling it out in the digital world.
But that's kind of the reality we're moving towards, you know?
Yeah, I guess it is.
And it shows how important it is to stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
The quantum revolution is happening, and it's going to change everything.
Everything.
Including cybersecurity.
Right. So
Okay.
to sum it all up,
Yeah.
it's time to wake up to this quantum threat.
Uh-huh.
This isn't some far-off future thing. It's happening now.
It is.
And I know it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all
Yeah.
this talk of quantum computers and all these algorithms.
For sure.
But the takeaway is we're not powerless.
We're not.
There are things we can do,
Absolutely.
both as individuals and together,
Yeah.
to manage the risk
Yeah.
and make sure we have a safer, more secure future.
In this quantum age. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Awareness is the first step.
It is.
Taking action is the next.
That's it.
Well, I think we've all had our quantum awakening today.
I think so too.
This has been eye-opening, to say the least.
It has.
So thanks for joining us
It's been a pleasure.
for this deep dive into quantum data defense.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.